MYSG, fourth pick for them. Bit of a scary position with this draft from Mineski, though they will go ahead and pick up the Kunkka. So again, some great team fight coming out. You do now have the, I guess, the presence of having the Grimstroke and the Kunkka combo, the double X. But that's really not that popular. I'm just pointing it out for the sake of pointing it out. How do you feel about this, though? I mean, MYSG, their team fight is fantastic. Still, though, Mineski, they've got that Necrophos that they've always wanted. The Doom is super strong, and of course you're just going to have the Doom available for the Kunkka whenever you want. You've got that AM available to drain the mana of the Wraith King to practically make him useless in the engagements.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Kunkka here. I think that's going to be a pretty decent hold for the AM. You should be able to at least keep him down, and that should be a decent response to that, but not quite the best. You're going to have to make sure you always land your combination with that Kunkka. In terms of synergy with a Grimstroke, it's definitely lacking. It's not the best. Double X is interesting, but you can't actually activate the second X. I think that just runs off the timer. So you don't really have massive control on that second instance of it, and it's just not that reliable, at the very least. So it'd be interesting to see just how far MYSG does push that out, but Mineski is looking really solid. Again, they have a well-rounded lineup. I think the one thing they'll need is something that can set the tempo a bit more, really ride in that early to mid game on their mid, something that just comes online fast and can kind of apply that pressure as well. Looks like the OD isn't banned out. That could be a decent choice. Not a tempo setter hero, but it can wreak havoc on that Wraith King as well. Even the Kunkka, not going to be too happy about that OD if it does come out. So it'd be interesting to see if they go for that hero, unless, of course, MYSG bans it out now. Is a possibility. Yeah, they banned it out. So would have been really good for Mineski, but MYSG does understand that. We do tend to see that, right? Last ban phase tends to be that OD in one of the teams, and it is just a valuable last pick to kind of have. So kind of clearing that out from MYSG, good move.
Certainly is. Moon definitely playing a very dangerous OD if they did give it away, but they get rid of it. MYSG now, how do you finish this draft off?
5 seconds remaining.
It will reveal as well for us whether they're planning to run that core Sand King or whether they're just going to run it as a position 4 and perhaps give another offlane hero. Of course, they could also run the offlane Wraith King instead and have another position 1, but we haven't seen much of that throughout any qualifiers, so it's very unlikely it's going to happen from MYSG.
It's really risky when you do that because the Wraith King really wants guaranteed early snowballing. It's a bit greedy to have him in that off, then have something else in the safe and expect it to do fine with solo support, or no support at all if you're going to opt to run an aggro try with Wraith King. It's going to be a bit rough. They close out with the Bounty Hunter, so that's going to be on the off lane, and that is going to be a nuisance for Mineski. We have seen that hero, of course, pop out, and it is really annoying to deal with overall. I mean, you have some flexibility again. Could do the Sand King on the office role, but I think the Bounty Hunter kind of does slot in there. He does take a bit more priority, at least in EXP. You want that track to be up as fast as possible. Then you want to be snowballing with those early track kills. And if you find that momentum, MYSG can escalate quite fast. The Wraith King will definitely enjoy that early gold influx. And they can itemize to try to end the game early because you don't want to take it too late against Mineski's draft. Like, they have the Necrophos, which scales really well and always going to be relevant with that site. The AM can just push down towers quite fast, and of course just becomes a menace in that late game. The Shadow Demon will amplify that effect on the AM as well, so gonna have to watch out for MYSG. They have to get that early aggression going, but Mineski is not really a team that has let up in that early aggression. We've seen it in their past series as well. They just, even with farm-heavy heroes like the Naga Siren, they don't let up. They just keep going.
I suppose the other thing with the Bounty Hunter, though, is they essentially do have the Grimstroke combo that we saw last game, except instead of a Riki, they have the Bounty, so there is that as well. It seems like pretty nice catch against the AM. But Mineski will bring out the Omni Knight, my goodness, and that'll mean Moon's on the mid Necrophos. KP will take over on that position 3 Omni Knight. That is a very, very scary hero to see on the side of Mineski.
It really is. All the damage coming out of MYSG right now is mainly physical for the most part. The most magic you have is on big ultimates like the Sand King's ultimate is going to be your biggest source of magic damage. Maybe the Kunkka as well with its Torrent Boat combo, if you can land it. Now, it's going to be a bit of a rough time having that. I mean, the Shadow Demon alone can disrupt that combination quite well. So, put that Omni Knight on top in that equation, and that immunity from physical damage killing you off is going to be really big for Mineski. It's going to be interesting to see how MYSG does run. Again, they need to be aggressive early. They need to get that early farm and VT faded up. They need this Bounty Hunter to really start stacking on those tracks, and looks like it will be Velo in that Bounty Hunter, so core Bounty Hunter coming out this game, and really not too unexpected. You want that EXP fast, you want the levels fast, start racking people up, and getting that early snowball in effect.
Well, this is going to be a pretty big bloodbath in this game, I feel like. There's just so many things that can be thrown out in these team fights. So many things to watch out for, though. Mineski, they do look like they're planning to take this a bit later, as you already mentioned, with the Anti-Mage. Of course, KP as well loves getting those the levels up on the Omni Knight. Be able to really spam out those abilities, though. MYSG definitely on a bit of a timer for themselves to try and really escalate with that Bounty Hunter. See how they can do. I mean, Velo, he loves playing that Bounty Hunter as well. We do see him playing that quite a lot. See how much work he can get done. I do wonder, do you think they'll run another tri-lane in that off-lane? Like with the Grimstroke and perhaps the Sand King?
You can get away with that. The Bounty Hunter does kind of work like Ricky with his early invis. Of course, you can pull that off. So I wouldn't be too surprised if they force that aggression out. You do kind of have to keep this AM in check. You don't want Ajit to have a free run on a hero like that. We saw him have a free run with Naga Siren, and he was active early on. The AM does require a bit more, but if you think about it, he can also do the same thing here. Like, after the Battle Fury, he's just gonna be split pushing and farming, sure, but maybe even after just the Manta, he's gonna be joining in these fights early on and just be a menace and really not letting off the brakes at all.
Mineski going as 5. They might want to go for an early engagement, but they don't have any smokes available. Here's the plan here. Nothing to say. In the mid lane, a lot of high fives going on here from Mineski.
That's the first time we've seen it today, isn't it? So, good sign from Mineski, but oh no.
Velo.
Ninja Boogie.
30 seconds to
Run into KP. Side of Mineski, trying to catch up to KP and try to cut Velo off, but it looks like Velo will be able to outrun them in the end. Mineski just very concentrating on those high fives, making sure they all get out in time. Nobody left hanging. Very nice to see. Looks like we will get this game started, although Mineski's put themselves in an awkward position where they might not get many bounty runes. Jit will jump in and will swipe on Raging Potato, will take another. So somehow they still manage to actually get 2 on the side of Mineski.
Yeah, and it's a nice, decent start. It did look like MYSG was about to get away with a better start in terms of bounties, but doesn't quite happen. And we are going to see an off-lane AM, so going to have that matchup against the Wraith King, and I think that's the matchup they really want to have for the most part. Doesn't look like we'll see the Grimstroke plus the Bounty Hunter, so that combination is not going to be there, but I'm going to see if that Grimstroke and Wraith King is going to be enough to slow down Ajit.
Find out. There will be the first Wraithfire Blast being thrown out on Ajit. Raging Potato is there though, so he will have the disruption to dodge the Inkswell if necessary. Meanwhile, it looks like Polison's actually just continuing to chase Ninja Boogie right now on the Doom. Ninja Boogie giving him the tip while he's being chased down. Looks like they will go again with the stun onto Ajit, and actually a lot of damage being dealt. Not very often as well, you see Winter actually going for the level 1 Stroke of Fate rather than the Inkswell, so it's not very often you see that on the Grimstroke at level 1, but that is what he's opted for. Now, actually, double Burrow Strike comes out. BT throws out the Wraithfire Blast, and that'll be a first blood on Raging, though. No, Disruption will be there in time. Ajit trying to protect Raging Potato. He does stick charge away. It won't matter in the end. Winter does find the final right click and will find the kill.
Yeah, that's a nice kill to set them up here in this what looks to be a tri-lane, so you really want to protect that Wraith King, give him a good start, and get that snowball going. Again, the entirety of MYSG's draft just relies on every lane kind of winning out. And the most important one, of course, being that Wraith King. We have seen Wraith Kings play from behind. It's not pretty. So all these resources to make sure that VT Faded has a good time should pay off as long as they keep that momentum going.
Looks like in that mid lane, nothing to say. Experiencing a bit of difficulty up against Moon. Getting ahead in terms of last hits and also dishing out a hell of a lot of harassment. Make matters worse, he will find an arcane rune now, so that's going to be even more harassment out onto nothing to say. For the moment, he will salve up. He'll be alright. Well, top as well. KP, top of the last hits in that offlane in comparison to Velo. But of course, Velo does have the Janata strikes to steal gold away from KP. I suppose with those last hits, you can't take them too seriously, at least on the Omni Knight.
Yeah, there are ways for the Bounty Hunter, of course, to keep that in check, as you mentioned, and, you know, it is an Australia versus Australia lane, so pretty interesting lane matchup to have, Mike.
It certainly is. It does. Disruption will come out down to the bot lane on Polison. It looks like he just wants to keep stacking those Shadow Poisons up. Does get 3, but that'll pretty much be the end of that. For the moment as well, VT Faded seems to be farming pretty well on that Wraith King, beating out the anti-mage being played by Arjit, but that is to be expected. I mean, it is the safe lane of MYSG after all. Mineski definitely looking for a way to kind of come in and find another kill. Then Polison gets stunned up, but now there will be a Wraithfire Blast on Ninja Boogie, and now they will continue the chase as well. And Ninja Boogie will be perfectly fine. He'll just walk his way out. Again, they'll just get back to farming on that AM.
Yeah, I think that, you know, trades like that are fine because you force that core away from the safe lane just for a bit, away from those lane creeps, and that gives Ajit a bit more time to really just play last hit, which as an AM you really want to experience the most of, right? Just that satisfying last hit sound and the mana break sound, really key to enjoying this hero.
Certainly so. KP still leading in terms of last hits in this offlane. Velo, again, just focusing on getting those Janata strikes off onto that Omni Knight. Find out later on who came out on top, though. Double Burrow Strike comes out from Polison. Raging Potato is going to be the target, but nice disruption will avoid the Ink Swell. VT Faded, though, has the follow-up stun, but he will use it on the illusion. And with that, Arjit will chase VT Faded, now out of mana. Will stick charge up, but this looks really bad for him. They'll just follow with the final right-click from Arjit. It's just a bit of a shame, because that disruption illusion actually essentially tricked VT Faded into stunning the wrong thing.
Yeah, really unfortunate for MYSG, but
Polison. Oh, the poison just taking him out, and now we do see the Ink Swell. He's just trying to get that banner in, but now the disruption comes out. Winter is in big trouble as well. They'll be able to stack up more Shadow Poisons on that Grimstroke, and that should be enough. And it will be. Raging Potato will go ahead and claim that kill as well. Polison will TP back in onto the shrine to try and help. He won't get anything out of it. Be chased down by Polison for a bit, but he'll be fine.
yeah, and again, just really good lane so far for Mineski. It felt like they were losing out earlier on, but now they've managed to get a lot for Ajit, just finding those support kills. No one is up there contesting that aim right now, and again, that just means Ajit should be able to get off to a fairly decent start in the offlane.
Polison again going to be chased down. Inkswell will be there on Polison, though everyone just kind of walks away, and looks like Polison will be able to do the same. So in the mid lane, Ninja Boogie going to show up on Nothing to Say. Death Pulse is coming out. Now, well, the Burrow Strike will be there, and Broken Fate as well, but the Reaper Scythe from Moon will take Polison down, and Nothing to Say will still be chased down here. He will throw the boat, and that should allow him to survive any further damage coming in. Looks like Mineski won't even care about the Conquer. They'll just start hitting up on that tier 1 tower while they have the Siege Creep available. again, Mineski finding themselves in the lead very early on. A 1-4 and a 2k net worth lead. Now Raging Potato looping in from behind. Finds nothing to say and just wants to stack the poisons up though. Moon falls very low in that mid lane, but it won't matter. They'll get a disruption off onto nothing to say. Winter though does find the Inkswell. Now Pollison is there as well, trying to find a Burrow Strike attempt, but he will not get it in the end. Mineski looks like they will be able to back off pretty safely.
That was 5 stacks and nothing to say. It drops him to 200 HP. If they just managed to get a couple of right clicks off, it would have been a kill, but again, the positioning from the supports of MYSG just kind of forces that aggression off. But while all of this is happening, you leave Ajit to man fight against the Raid King, and the Raid King does not enjoy losing his mana like this.
No, he does not. Because VT Faded is actually rushing what looks like a Midas as well. So, not sure if that's the right itemization to go for when you're up against an AM, but that is his choice to make, and it looks like he is making it. Meanwhile, Pollison gets dusted up top lane. Double Burrow Strike again from him. Though Ninja Boogie gonna make the chase, but Velo is here with the track now. That should allow the Sand King to run away. Velo trying to find a trade onto Ninja Boogie, though Purification will ensure the Doom is safe. Well, Velo still making the chase, however. He will not have Shuriken Toss mana available. He does mango up at the end, but it is a bit too late for that. So he will not find any track kills quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good timing on the track, but not really finding anything. They do manage to at least save themselves from that fairly deep dive, but you can see how confident Mineski is. A level 4 Doom running through that tier 1 for a very long time, and they don't feel threatened at all.
Game's gonna just get exponentially harder. I mean, KP, he's already level 7 now. There's not really much chance of them killing him off. He doesn't even opt for the Heavenly Grace yet either. He went for that the Degen Aura. So looking to get involved pretty early on, it seems, with this Omni Knight. What's that Degen Aura? Gonna be maxed out. It's gonna be very frustrating to have to go up against.
It's even more frustrating when you combine it with that Necrophos. Once he gets levels in that Ghost Shroud, the slow stacking is gonna be insane.
It is.
Step lively now. Your admiral is on board.
Like Jit, gonna get tracked up by Velo bot lane. Not be able to get that Janata Strike in time.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Or VT opts to go for the treads first, but is still queuing up that Midas. Well, bot lane, they have got the disruption onto Velo. They do get the surround as well. Velo can't really get out of this one. He has been dusted up by VT, trying to help. Mana Void will finish the job, however. Bit of a shame there, but Velo, he unfortunately still hasn't found a track kill yet.
Yeah, and again, that's one of the key things that MYSG needs to start stacking up on. Those early track kills were supposed to set the momentum for this game, but they can't even find that at this point. There are no real easy targets as well. Like, who will you actually go for? You can't kill off the Doom fast enough. The Shadow Demon can delay those fights.
KP, looks like that'll be the target here. VT, he'll TP up. Pollison will get started with the Burrow Strike, but he does have Heavenly Grace available now. And it just makes it too easy to walk away when you have that region available. So he will miss out on the boundary rune at the very least, so Pollison does manage to take one for the team. Now Velo, trying to go for a Janata Strike, but
Radiant's bottom tower
like he'll
is
just
under
track and
attack.
Shuriken Toss. Plans to just keep KP away from his own tier 1 tower. The VT Faded will be able to apply a bit of pressure here on this tier 1. So, the same side of the coin, you look at bot lane, Mineski is applying a lot more pressure on the bottom tier 1 tower. It looks like KP probably will be able to keep this safe. Meanwhile, though, mid lane, Ninja Boogie does end up going down. Looks like it was X, Torrent, and Boat coming out of nothing to say. Be able to take that Doom out.
Yeah, not the biggest loss in the world for Mineski. That's just to support Doom dying to the mid. Kunkka really just trying to get that level 6 on, I guess, with its solo EXP.
Raging Potato getting jumped right now, nothing to say. Does TP out, and with that X, should be able to clean up this kill. The Purge will be there from Raging, but it will not help the cause of the no. Maybe it will. Arjit, he jumps in onto Winter. They will find Raging Potato in the end, but now a Mana Void from Arjit will find a trade. Velo again TPing in. If he was about a second or a couple seconds earlier, he may have found the track on Raging Potato, but we'll miss out once again.
Yeah, again, still no track kills coming out for MYSG, and that's going to be really pivotal. They desperately need it. They need that great start. They need the snowball to start forming up, but it looks like Mineski again is setting the pace on this match.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
T1 top tower now being pressured, but most of MYSG has already TP'd out, so they won't be able to rotate to defend this. You've only really got Winter on that Grimstroke around the area, but even he can't do the job. They'll claim a second tier 1 tower while losing none on the side of Mineski. There is a bit of pressure being applied in the mid lane by the Wraith King Skeletons, but Raging Potato is there to clean them up. Ninja Boogie. Scout out VT faded. Let's take out a Sentry Ward for himself. And I mean, you talked about it before, but Mineski, they just look so confident right now. Just nothing to be afraid of. They're more than happy to be on the Radiant side of the map most of the time. And very worrying for MYSG to not be able to punish this.
KP just man-fights the Wraith King and isn't scared at all. He's all alone top lane, but trades for a bit and looks better on top. VT faded. Still at level 8. Still hasn't finished at Midas. This is already a pretty slow game for MYSG. It's going to slow down even more with a Midas build instead of anything else that enables them to come online fast.
Well, now they jump onto KP, but again, he's not afraid, and he does have help behind him. Moon just waiting for the Reaper Scythe opportunity. VT faded, though. Does have the reincarnation. Now Velo will jump in, but the Necrophos is there. What the hell are you even going to do? You know you can't kill them. You let them go. But Velo will keep eyes on them at the very least, but slightly careful. While mid lane, there is a bit of a loop around here for Ninja Boogie. Winter, not using the Ink Sword quite yet. He actually walks straight past. Perhaps that T1 mid tower still being there is a bit too threatening to jump on Ninja Boogie, because of course it does allow the TP rotation.
I mean, I really am a bit worried for MYSG, just based on how Mineski's playing it. They're already taking over the opposite side of the map, and they haven't even taken out any tier 2s yet. Velo drops really low.
Yeah, he's trying to annoy KP, and KP really doesn't care. It has a bit of gold stolen away. But I mean, you look at the difference in those position 3s. Velo sitting at 3.6k net worth, KP sitting at 5.5k, almost 2k ahead of that bounty. So it turns out the Janata strikes really didn't matter in the end.
Yeah, it's not much gold loss compared to what you gained from last hitting, of course. And again, it's looking wonky here for MYSG. They just needed a good snowball start, but they're 5k behind. Again, it's almost the same every single game when we watch Mineski.
Well, I mean, DT, at least he has the Midas up, but the only problem is, you look over to Arjit on the Anti-Mage, he has the full Battle Fury up now at about 14 minutes in. 15-minute bounty rune, so this may cause a fight, but Mineski looks like they're just going to be able to claim 4, though no Soulbind will come out on KP. Now the boat coming out onto 2 thanks to Polison with the setup. They will find 1 on Raging Potato, though. Guardian Angel now comes out. They get the Reaper Scythe off onto Polison. VT faded, trying to back off. He does have mana for the reincarnation, so he should be okay, but Mineski aren't exactly guaranteed to back off after the reincarnate, and it looks like they won't. They are going to move back in onto VT once again. He doesn't have a shrine to run back to. Stroke of Fate will slow them down, but VT, he gets Rod of Atos, and well, there's just no way to survive that. The Courier now being chased down by Velo, but he won't find it in the end. I believe they did get 1 track kill at least onto Raging Potato, but how much does that really matter when you just lost your position 1?
Yeah, again, it's a bit wonky. They really needed more from this lineup. It's just not coming out, and that was not even a 5v5. That's like a 5v4, because, again, Ajit is just not joining yet, and they're still not able to find these pickoffs.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Bot lane now being pushed in, and while you have KP there, there's really nothing to be afraid of. Now Moon's going to join in as well, and he has a dust available on him.
Oh.
They'll dust up Paulison. He will go for the burrow strike, but Arjit will blink straight on top, and Paulison has nowhere to go. That looks like it's going to be another tier 2 tower to the way of Mineski.
It's just really clinical right now for Mineski. In fact, they're TPing in the Kunkka.
Both going to come out. They're going straight after Arjit, though he's okay. Moon moving forward. Rod of Atos is there, though. Now Soulbind being thrown out with the double silence. But they'll take out silence pretty easily, and there's just way too much sustain here. When you've got Moon on the Necrophos and KP on the Omni Knight, you've got so much heal coming in. It's what do you do if you're on the side of the Radiant?
You just don't have the damage coming out. And that's down to how you itemized on your heroes. You went with Midas first on Raid King. He's going for that armlet now, but it just feels like it's not going to be enough for what Mineski has. If he had it maybe 5 minutes ago, you could play around a bit more with that armlet, but you're really going to have to hold out on a bigger item now in this Raid King, and by then the AM would have at least this Manta style up.
Oh, they found Velo again mid lane. Reaper Scythe being committed. It's not quite enough. But KP will manage to get the final right click in. Oh my. 4-11 now. 17.5 minutes in. You're looking at a 9k net worth lead for Mineski. Again, you just sit here wondering what they can do. If they get a crazy good team fight on the side of MYSG and get a lot of track kills, I mean, that could really turn all of it around, but I look at this draft from Mineski and I wonder, how do you even kill these guys off? They are going to move in now. Raging Potato. In fact, no, they'll go onto Paulison. Doom being committed, and he cannot get away, though. They may find the Doom now. The Tidebringer hit, though, does not connect onto Ninja Boogie. They didn't get the angle right. They are moving in to try and fight, but again, you have so much sustain. Meanwhile, Arjun, he's pushing in the top lane, so you've got to be worried about that tier 2 being lost.
Oh. Oh. Yeah, it's just getting worse and worse here for MYSG. They're just losing all their map and Velo.
Yeah, well, do they have detection for him? Maybe don't even need it. The Death Pulse, yeah. The Purge will finish him off. Raging Potato. They knew exactly where he was. They had the magic app with the Ghost Shroud as well, just to make sure they got all the damage in. Tell me, John, MYSG, what the hell can they do here?
They've got to get a great team fight going. They've got to be able to get... They actually don't have Epicenter leveled up on Paulson, so that's not going to be there for the team fight. I don't know, maybe try to find track kills?
Nothing to say. He went and poured a Radiance on the Kunkka. They are going to try and fight now, but Stunlet to KP will do nothing. Kind of shocked to see the Radiance build coming out from the Kunkka. I mean, they already had a rough start as it was. How much work is this Radiance going to get done for their side?
It's still a fairly good timing, though. It's like sub 20 minutes. That's pretty darn good considering the start MYSG had overall.
They get a stun off onto the Necrophos. Now Moon losing a lot of HP. Stroke of Fate as well, though. Moon still surviving. He will go down. He could not heal himself up with the silence, and now a secondary kill. This is what MYSG needed. Can they find more? They have an X onto Arjit. There's the Torrent with the follow-up stun. Guardian Angel will come out, however, and now they might even go for a fight here on Mineski, though. No, they will back off to safety. KP, though, going to be chased down. Stun does connect. He's so tanky, though, on this Omni Knight. Meanwhile, mid lane, they have found Raging Potato, though he can't get the Purge off in time. In fact, he did onto Velo, but it's not going to matter too much. 3 heroes going down for Mineski, all of them being track kills as well. That is a great little boost for MYSG.
It really is, and that's what they need to keep doing. They need to keep finding these single pickoffs when Mineski is kind of scattered around, and punish them for that. When you scatter these heroes around, they can't really do too much alone. So just bring your numbers to bear, get those single target pickoffs, and start snowballing from there. If Mineski keeps giving away these kills, it will allow MYSG to bounce back. I mean, there's still a 7k lead on Mineski, but that was a 2k swing going the way of MYSG just from those two kills with track.
Because that was a 3k gold swing, that last team fight. MYSG be very happy with that. It's like VT is going to go into that blink dagger now, so just going to continue following that mid-game fighting build that you do see Red Kings pick up. It looks like he's going to go into a Guardian Greaves up next. Just needs the recipe for that. So, the side of MYSG. Smoke up. They can find these 2 kills to be massive. They do get the X. Now the boat as well. Flying in with the double Burrow Strike. That's going to be a lot of gold again for MYSG. 2 track kills. Mineski can't be as confident as they were just 5 minutes ago. They're giving too much gold away to this Radiant side, and that was another 2k gold swing.
They really can't afford to be going out as 2 anymore. It looks like MYSG does understand they just need to group up as 5 and punish the split up from Mineski. So if they keep this up again, it's going to be the way back in for MYSG, and that gold lead does shrink ever more for Mineski.
Gonna get jumped on by Arjit. They do have help from KP coming in though. The Inkswell is there. Still the DJ and Aura slowing down VT Faded so much, and he has no mana to reincarnate this time around. Now Arjit looking for more. They found nothing to say though. Torrent will be there and does connect on 2. Raging is making the chase. Doesn't have the ultimate to use but won't even need it. Nothing to say. He's got no mana left to spam out. They'll find 2 kills on Arjit on that anti-mage. That is the one missing factor from Mineski, right? As you haven't seen Arjit get involved too often with this anti-mage, but now with the Manta up, he's going to be able to claim a T2 tower down at that bot lane, the top lane, excuse me, and they will go straight into that Roshan pit as well.
Managed to get the deny from MYSG's side, so that's a slight win there, but I don't see the contest coming out for Roche, especially without that Kunkka.
Bello won't try to go for an Aegis steal either. Allowed to go down. Bello will be able to claim the top tier 1 tower at the very least, so a nice little gold boost once again to the side of MYSG. But now an immediate smoke will come out from Mineski. They want to try and fight straight after picking up the Aegis. You know, Polison's in that mid lane. They will just stop and they'll go for him straight away. Polison, Burrow Strike is there, but the Rod of Atos was also there from Moon, and now a Reaper's Scythe will finish the job off.
That's a 1 minute 10-second respawn time and no buyback. That's going to be a lot of time where MYSG won't be able to force that out, force the threat of that Blink Burrow Strike Epicenter out. And that's going to be a massive opening for Mineski to siege that high ground.
We'll go for the T2 mid tower first. Arjit getting pretty close to a butterfly though. They may back off and just wait for that butterfly to come out, but like you mentioned, without that buyback on the Sand King, they can jump in, and they will. Straight onto nothing to say. He'll be okay, though. Arjit just on the front lines with that Aegis, feeling very comfortable. Hey, stop it. Arjit jumps in onto Winter, though. Will again back off. Now, who have they found there? It is Bello on the Bounty Hunter. Meanwhile, a disruption in the back. Nice torrent there, though. VT Faded, getting trapped out and has no mana once again, though. No, he does. He actually ended up getting the reincarnate off just in time, and now he'll go again. Arjit gonna make the chase. Oh, Soulbind will be there, and a very nice one at that from Winter. Will save the day for VT for the moment, though. Raging. Ends up fighting it with the Purge. That a 3-man torrent coming out, and now the burrow into the epicenter as well from Polison. It's a massive one, but nobody actually ends up falling. Now the Doom comes out, nothing to say, cannot help out. He will buy back immediately. Polison as well going down that T3 tower, not going to be long for this world. Mineski boys, they can reset so easily with all these heals being pumped out from the Omni and the Necrophos, and now a disruption. They found nothing to say. That's a dieback on this Punka if he falls right now, and he will. They will call GG well played on MYSG, and it looks like Mineski will be your first grand finalist for these SEA close qualifiers. Why not just Fountain Dive at the end as well? Again, Mineski, they have had 4 convincing games today.
They really have, and you know, 9-21, 13k net worth lead, win an AM this time. It looks like these guys pick these sort of carries that you expect to go into the late game, but just end so fast. And again, the pressure coming out from Mineski, a very one-sided victory, I have to say, 9-21. MYSG putting up a good fight, but not managing to find that early game snowball that their lineup really required. So Mineski does go on into the grand finals. Of course, MYSG has another chance at that lower bracket. So, look forward to them. Maybe they manage to go back in and force Mineski to play another best of 3.
Certainly so. Now, for the viewers watching, if you did want to tune in to the lower bracket, it is over on Beyond the Summit 2. So just go ahead over to that Twitch stream if you do wish to watch how that turns out. Of course, the winner of that series between BoomID and Team Adroit will be up against MYSG+AU for those lower bracket finals. And like John just said, the winner of that will go up against Mineski in the grand finals. So John, that's it for us for the StarLadder ImbaTV closed qualifiers. Any last words before we head out?
Hopefully everyone did have fun. Those were some pretty exciting games in Southeast Asia. Unfortunately, we're only here for one day for C. At the very least, we do get to watch our boys again play. Always fun being back in the region. It's been a while, but we get to cover them once more. And if you guys have any sort of feedback, if you guys have any comments on the casting, if you want to follow us, of course, it's at MLPDotA and at johnxfire on Twitter. Give us a shout if you have any feedback or if you just want to let us know, what we could do to better serve the cast, right? So again, just send us a message and follow us on Twitter. That does help out. And hopefully we'll see you very soon. I'm not sure what else is left, but the season is starting to wind down, Mike.
Certainly is, John, but thank you very much for that. Thank you to the viewers, and hopefully you all have a fantastic day or night wherever you are. Catch you guys next time.